The Mesa Chamber of Commerce Inside Business Podcast brings you a unique view of Mesa through its vibrant business community and the subjects that are important. The podcast is produced in the Mesa Chamber of Commerce Media Studio, sponsored by the University of Phoenix. Our podcast is hosted by Mesa Chamber of Commerce CEO Sally Harrison. Please enjoy this episode of the Mesa Chamber Inside Business Podcast.
I'm Sally Harrison, the president of the Mesa Chamber of Commerce, and today I'm in the podcast room with my friend Carol Lawless of Oakwood Creative Care. Carol, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk to you because I don't know all of the Carol story.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we have a handful of things that we want to talk about, but you are the Director of Community Engagement. I've heard that that is a new title for you. Yeah. So let's start with your background. What did you do before you came to Oakwood?
Okay. Well, I got my MBA from ASU, go Devils, way back when. And from there, I ended up having a family. I started with Anderson Consulting back when they were still with Arthur Anderson, and blue suits were the only thing worn in that world. Kind of hard to believe I was there. And then as my family started to grow, I stopped that, and I ended up choosing to teach a program for my kids' school so that they could get it. And then I had these two amazing volleyball players that really ran us all over. So my daughter played for UCLA, and my son played, and then he broke his back. So that ended his college career. But yeah. That kept me busy. My parents were older when I was born, like in the 40s. That was pretty rare.
We have that in common.
Back then. And so I ended up living through my mom having Alzheimer's. It really showed its ugly self after my dad died from a heart condition. And they were up in Minnesota. And that's my kind of lead into Alzheimer's. But yeah, I'm like the 55th first cousin on my mom's side and the 27th on my dad's.
Oh, you have a large family.
A very large family.
Holy cow. Wow.
You know.
Wow. So. Okay, so I'm guessing that relationship with Alzheimer's is what brought you to Oakwood.
Right. And I used to work with Maggie's Place. Okay. And Maggie's Place runs homes of hospitality for pregnant women who are on the streets, but they don't look like homeless people, right? And then I raised monies for private schools down here where my kids went. And then I ended up at St. Benedict's Parish, and we did a capital campaign after my car accident. They found out I had a little knowledge of that. And then I got a phone call from Sherry's mom, who happens to be a friend of mine.
So Sherry's sicking her mom on people?
Yeah. So I guess Sherry had posted that she was looking for someone in development. And I was like, oh, interesting, was my comment on Facebook. And look what happens.
Got to be careful what you post.
Vicki said, you really need to go check it out. And so I called Sherry and said, hey, can I come tour and see what you guys do?
That's cool. So what year would that have been?
That was 3 years ago.
Okay, so talk about how you got engaged and what your role has been, because I know you've played a few different roles there. Right. And talk about what Oakwood is, because not everybody understands what Oakwood is. Yeah. There's an interesting past and different name change. And
Right. So for those that don't know, Oakwood Creative Care used to be called the Serene Adult Daycare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the most tactful name.
Well, a wonderful group of women started it because they saw the need in Mesa, and we are licensed through the Arizona Department of Health, and they do license us as an adult day care. Yeah. But myself, getting up in my 50s, that doesn't sound that appealing to me. No. I would like some respect. I don't need daycare, but I do need community, and I do need purpose, and so about 8 years ago, Sherry changed the name when she became the CEO to Oakwood, because the roots run deep into the community. Right. And the fact that the acorn, every acorn is different. It has a thumbprint to it. And everyone that works there, everyone that comes as a member, everyone that donates kind of leaves their thumbprint and an impression on us, because many of our members teach us so much. Like they leave an impression on us that we will have for the rest of our lives.
Yeah. I've had the honor of visiting multiple times, and you just leave there feeling so good.
Yes.
I mean, it's fun. It's humbling. It's interesting to interact with some of the clients there, the members. They have great stories to share.
Right.
Yeah.
So our mission is to enhance the quality of life and spark joy for seniors who are dealing with cognitive or physical challenges. And I mentioned my car accident. I lived through some physical and cognitive issues where a lot of what I did in my recovery was just quilting and painting. Little did I know I was really healing myself, because the creative center of our brain is the last part, along with your emotional aspect, to be affected by a traumatic brain injury or by a progressive disease. So Oakwood really focuses on that, and we hire art educators and cognitive teachers that the members come every day. They do like a coffee clutch in the morning. Everyone arrives at their own time. People come 1 day a week, 5 days a week. Sometimes they're there, 4 hours, 8 hours. It's depending on what the family needs.
Sure.
Because Alzheimer's, dementia, or a stroke, they're all family diseases. Like they affect the entire family. So back to that introduction from Sherry's mom. When I went to interview, they had finished up their exercise and they were doing Zumba.
I've done Zumba there. Yes.
Yeah. So that was super fun.
Very low impact.
Very low impact. But they get, we get to stop the falls. Because if we don't keep moving, you are more susceptible to falls. And those are often what put people in hospitalizations or needing full-time care.
Right.
Yeah. And so then we were watching everyone have choice. We also don't focus on the take everything away to keep you safe. We allow people to work with paints and saws or drills.
There have been some really creative projects that have come out of Oakwood.
Yes.
We've been the recipient of some of those things.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Like what?
I hired the group to make me a lemonade stand. Doubles as a kissing booth.
I love it.
A drink cart for certain events.
Right.
But, it's creative.
Right.
Yeah.
So think, our members are dealing with some ambiguous loss, but if we can focus on their personhood of who they are and what they really love to do, we can keep them busy and having purpose. And they've done little teddy bears for Helen's Hope, to be a way to give back, So we have seamstresses that like to sew and, they feel good because now they're helping someone else.
Yeah.
We all need purpose, right?
Several years ago, we put up a Christmas tree and realized we didn't have anything to decorate it with. So I called Sherry, and I don't know how many were involved, but she showed up one morning with, I think there were 6 or 7 of the clients. They bussed over, and they brought them, and everybody stood around, and they were putting them on the tree. Of course, it was from here to here, right? They're just kind of their eye level. It was so much fun. So the next year we decided, because it was kind of the same group that was going to come back, that we would have some treats. So, we had
made a little Christmas
party out of it. We had some hot chocolate and coffee and some snacks.
Celebrate life.
They walked in and they took one look at the table with the treats and decided that was going to be the first thing that they focused on. It was so much fun, though. It really was. And I think we did that 3 or 4 years. So we have some handmade decorations from the members there. But really meaningful, right? And as we're putting them up this year, it's like, oh, this came from Oakwood.
That's fun. That's fun.
Yeah.
So what really hooked me, line and sinker, was the fact that I had gone into this one classroom where they were painting, and then I went into the other classroom where they were doing mosaics, and this gentleman was so excited he had to get out of his chairs And he has aphasia, which means he can't fully get his words out.
Mm-hmm.
But with Sherry's help, he basically told me that who to thunk it, he's an artist. And then he told me that he captured the sky. He was referring to a painting in the other room. And it was the night cosmos, like perfect. And it still gives me chills because he was 48 years old, so younger than me.
Oh, wow.
And his wife still needed to work. She was manager of a restaurant, so she could take him to, open and then bring him over to us about 7:30.
Mm-hmm.
We altered our hours to help and then pick him up after she was done. And it could be any of us.
Right. We
like
just don't
you don't
know.
prepare for that.
Right.
And seniors so often, you want your independence, so you put yourself in an assisted living place.
Right.
However, assisted living is an apartment with some breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and maybe cleaning. But where's the engagement?
Right.
Like you got to keep those neurons firing.
Yeah.
And you're going to go through your estate pretty fast at $5,000 a month.
Right.
So
wow,
that got me.
So that got you.
Yeah, because my mom had some cash in her time, and we as family decided we were spending it on her as she needed it. But she would wander the halls of her assisted living looking for engagement, and she would say hi to people, but that's all she could say. She didn't know how to ask them a question, or how to start that conversation of what she was still remembering about teaching in the one-room classroom in South Dakota, or something like that, where these cognitive classes, if they're talking about trips, often they're like, oh, I visited there, or stuff like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, so before we go on to the next part of this, talk about how people can get involved. How do they reach out? What's your website?
Oh, absolutely. So I started as the very first development director of it, which is pretty cool. And we have such a great community support, which we're very thankful for. We currently are up to 3 clubs here in the Mesa, and Chandler is our newest expansion.
Great.
They are going by like their location. So it's Red Mountain at Oakwood Creative Care, or Town Center, the one that's around the corner here downtown by Oakwood Creative Care, or The Perfect Place down in Chandler. But we're all connected on our oakwoodcreativecare.org.
Great. Okay. All right. So changing gears a little bit.
Yeah.
You are in our current Mesa leadership class.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So talk about that. Talk about what you guys are up to and what your role is. And I know that you're working on a class project, because every class works on a class project, except mine. But talk about that.
Yeah. So we're a smaller class this year because of COVID.
Right.
And that delight, I think there's 11 or 12 of us. And I think you usually have like 20, 30.
Yeah.
We chose to work on a home that is here in Mesa for Child Crisis Center. The boys that live at this home are all in their teens, so it's likely that they will be there. And at that house, our job is to make it a home, is what we kind of think. So we're going to finish off the backyard, put in some AstroTurf, and try and make it inviting. And then we're painting all the boys' rooms and making some frames for them to have pictures of themselves up, and giving them new couches and tables and chairs and stuff like that.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
How many boys are there?
8 or 10.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I
No,
don't remember.
that's okay.
But I know it's one of those 2 numbers,
That's
8 or
great.
10.
That's great. So, I mean, I went through the program and graduated in 2010. And I think for me, I didn't know a lot about Mesa until I actually was involved in this program. I knew what I knew and didn't really realize all the other things that were going on in the city. And I learned a lot in those, 8 months of the program. Talk about like the different locations that you've been to. Have you gone on tours?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've done quite a few tours, even considering, some people are closed down or whatnot. Like we went to the whole traffic center. That was amazing to me, how they run all the lights and monitor all the streets and everything like that. And there's so much growth down south, which is crazy. Really crazy. We went to the airport, Gateway, and ASU campus down there. We've been to Helen's Hope Chest, which, wow, the work they do, it's really cool. If you're not familiar with it, for foster families that they can go and do their shopping and whatnot. So there's been a lot of it. The mayor has come and spent some time with us. We've had great speakers, and just learning how Mesa runs.
Well, it's nice because I believe, this year's class is probably the same as most, where every month you have a different focus. So it might be how city government runs, and then it could be focused on nonprofits and the arts. And so what's your next class? Do you know?
I think the next class is at the Fire and Police Training Facility.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
That'll be great.
I have a firefighter in my family.
Nice. So have you done your ride-alongs?
No, I haven't. I just realized I hadn't done them.
Yeah. Take advantage of those, because I know some of the things that you have the opportunity to do are optional, but I look back and think, if you can take advantage of all of it, everybody needs to, because you just get so much out of it.
Yeah. Well, and that's how come I'm getting to spend some time with you today, too.
Well, thank you for shadowing today. Not the most exciting, but so we're just
neat
glad
to
you're
be
here.
able to see other leaders, and I think we can always learn something new from someone who's showing some success. And
well, we've got a lot going on.
You do have a lot
going on. It's nice to
on.
involve you, and I'm really glad that you're part of the program this year, because I know how much I got out of it, and I think over the last 12 years that program's just gotten bigger and stronger. So it's fun. Anything else you want people to know?
What else do I want them to know? Well, Oakwood also has partnered with a for-profit organization, which is Alley Learning, and they are now doing curriculum that can be gotten for like a assisted living facility, or for people who live in a rural America to do at home.
Oh, interesting.
So trying to be able to say, we're not, this can be done for everyone. Everyone needs to be able to have the emotional support. And did you know, well, you do know because you were part of it, Mesa is now dementia friendly.
I was going to ask you to talk about that.
Yeah.
So how do, explain what dementia friendly means, and how do our businesses get involved in that?
You might have to answer the second, because I don't know how the businesses fully get involved, but I know that they can become dementia friendly certified.
Right.
So dementia friendly is expanding. It's out of Minnesota, I believe, and it's a place where caregivers can come with their loved ones and get education. It's usually ran in a library. Like I know Tempe was the first in Arizona. They run it in their library. And then there's time together for coffee and socialization and meeting other people who are living through some of the same things. And then they break up, and those that have a diagnosis are treated to a program that's supported by someone who is trained in the dementia world, and then the support groups meet, or they might have a doctor come and speak, or something like that. And of course, Mesa's, as they're launching it, was at the beginning of COVID. So
yay.
It's been hard to get everyone to know. Like, I really hope, as the program starts in this, I don't know if it'll be ran at, do you know where it'll be ran?
Well, so you're talking about a couple of different things. Anybody can become a dementia friend, right?
Right.
Then there's the dementia friendly city kind of piece of it, where we want to incorporate more activities like what you're talking about for caregivers and stuff. The staff here became dementia friends, and we all went through the training. It's very simple. I mean, it's a 1-hour training, basically. It's not like there's a big test afterwards. You just have to, go through the training with a certified trainer like Karen is.
Yeah.
And basically, it's more about awareness, right? So if somebody were to come in here and have some cognitive issues, we'd pick up on that and understand that they might just need a little more time, or a little more explanation, or if you have to repeat
your
yourself.
lights might be bugging them.
Yeah, you just don't know, right? And so we're hoping that more businesses can go through that training and have the understanding when somebody will come into their office, their restaurant, whatever it might be, and just have that kind of, empathetic piece where they can take the time that needs to be taken and not make a big deal out of it if somebody's, acting out or having an issue. So not hard, but if anybody wants to reach out, we can certainly put them in contact. We have several trainers. That's awesome. And the goal is to get more of our friends and our businesses to go through that process and understand, what dementia friends means.
Right. And I know for myself, when I did that training, the biggest takeaway I had was that their emotions and their past memories are what stay with them the most.
Right.
And that arguing with them that they're incorrect is totally useless.
It's useless because whatever they're thinking is their reality. And, you can't change their mind because there's no other options for them.
Right. And improv, how well improv works with it. Because I can think of a member needing to go find his car out front. Well, you've been to our town center. He was certain he left it down those front stairs. And you're like, oh, your son had to borrow it, or he's like, still was kind of like, oh, I know it's here somewhere. And I'm like, will you show me where that door is? And we could walk around, and it was kind of a gray day. So that made it more like they talk about sundowners,
right.
Which, a gray day can spark for them because they're not seeing the horizon and the blue or whatnot. So we diverted and had hot cocoa,
Hot cocoa can be the answer for a lot of things.
Ice cream.
There you go.
Ice cream is also very important in our world.
Well, thank you for taking the time to come in and talk about all these important issues, but specifically the work that you guys do at Oakwood. It really is a great addition to our community, and we're proud to be partners with you guys.
Yeah, we're going to change how senior care is given.
It's important.
It really is.
Yeah. Well,
we have a silver tsunami hitting us right now of those baby boomers.
Yeah, here I am. Thank you.
Thank you.
This has been a Mesa Chamber of Commerce Inside Business podcast. You can find all podcast episodes at iTunes, Spotify, or your own favorite podcast website. You can also find them online at mesachamber.org. Content of this podcast is copyright the Mesa Chamber of Commerce, unless otherwise noted.